Everyone, welcome aboard. Welcome to the show. Here we are here and we are live. Can you all hear me? I know that does look good, and the comments were alive to this pre-show. I love what you guys do over here, and I think there's some sort of train. It almost ran through my house over here. A whole bunch of excited folks outside. I wonder who it could be. But hello, everyone. How's it going? It is your host and founder and conductor on this wild and crazy ride, Demetrius Villa. Hello, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Wow, God, the comments are just a lot of people here. Alrighty. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the start of that live stream. So we're going to have a nice, smooth night tonight. We've got a couple of articles we're going to go through. We're going to be talking about Brightline, of course. Didn't win the Super Bowl, but it's still going to Disney World. And we got talking about the Hyperloop too. We're also going to go into a little bit of politics here. Again, because we got to allay some fears and get to everyone and, talk a little bit about what's going on here. Like I said, this show, and you guys have known that I always have a bias and whatnot, but again, we'll get into that a little later, but this will be a win-win situation for everybody, no matter if you agree with my positions politically or if you don't. It will be a win-win for everyone. I think this light's a little too high. There we are. Get this a little lower. There we go. And just screwed off. Oh, well, whatever. No big deal. I guess we'll just put it right to me. And get this one right here, too. Okay, there we go. That was last-minute changes right there. Alrighty. But we got that. We're talking about Amtrak. And we're talking about a couple other things as well. So I think we're going to have a nice set and good night. So let's get this started. Alrighty. Hello, Ashkar, and happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Alrighty. Hello, Rob. Hello, Christopher. Hello, Berwin. Hello, G. Hello, Metra Fan. Hello, Joachim. Hello, GN. Hello, King Sean. All hail the king. We're all kings here. No worries. And we got a couple queens, of course. We do have a couple queens. Holly is one of them. What am I drinking? I'm drinking a sarsaparilla. Sioux City sarsaparilla. This is my favorite of like sodas or whatnot. I love sarsaparilla. Or as you'd say in Spanish, sarsaparilla, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into this right here and right now. So this is the big news that has happened in the last several days. Disney is getting a Brightline station, and they're getting it at Disney Springs. So I know there were a couple of you in the comments who got it right, that it was going to be in Disney Springs. I said it probably could be in the transportation center. I was definitely wrong on that, and I guess it will work for Disney Springs. More than work, but, well, we'll see where that's going to go. So Disney and Brightline are have reached an agreement. Let me reiterate that. They have reached an agreement, past tense, to build high-speed rail station at Disney Springs. So this is going to be a pretty massive thing. As you know, and for anybody who's been to Florida or a native Floridian like myself, or has lived and born and raised in Florida, tourism is a big friggin' deal in the state of Florida. So Disney World is our top destination. So having a train station right to there, connecting straight from the airport, the Orlando International Airport, which I hope you guys enjoyed the last several episodes where we went to Tampa and Orlando. We're also having another episode going around some of our travels. With this over here, you guys will be the first to know the Oklahoma Railway Museum. That's where we're going. That's where we've gone a little bit west. I was pretty impressed with that. I do gotta say, it was a pretty impressive museum and pretty impressive city as well. I didn't think City would be that pretty swanky of a city and it's swanky of a town, but it definitely is, and I do recommend anybody, if they're around the area, to check that out. But let's get back over here. So they're expected to take 2 to 3 years to complete once construction commences. Construction will likely commence after the scheduled 2022 completion of the expansion to the Orlando International Airport. So always take dates with a grain of salt, guys. I've always said that. Don't prepare yourself for disappointment. Always push it at least a year back. Okay? Especially for some. So Brightline has always been pretty on top of things, and they've been doing their best to always get on time, under budget, and and ahead of schedule. Of course, there are known factors and unknown factors that push that date away. Specifically, you have a whole lot of political opposition in the Treasure Coast that pushed a lot of Brightline's date back. But we're still here, and Brightline is still the first and only running high-speed rail, privatized high-speed rail, or higher speed rail technically, capable trains in the United States. So, technically they're not running now, but they will be running back. Again, we don't know when during the holiday season, but as soon as they start getting back, we'll be the first to know. So they're going to have a lobby, a ground station, passenger facilities, an upper-level train platform. An exact location for the station at Disney Springs has not yet been announced. Okay, so they are proposing it. They have started the engineering earlier in 2020. So that's going to be pretty cool. And again, it takes 4 to 5 hours to drive up there. Now you can get there in technically 2 hours and 50 minutes, but 3 hours. It's a heck of a lot better, and you don't have to get up. You don't have to stop for gas. You don't have to stop to take a number 1 or a number 2. You can just go ahead and just sit back, relax, and take a drink on the train. Which, by the way, guys, speaking of fun stuff, we got the merchandise back up online. And I finally fixed this whole thing with YouTube that they weren't allowing my merchandise on there for some reason. I don't know why. We got back to like 10,000 subscribers like a year ago or something like that. And I sent an email to YouTube, and it took them almost a year to get back to me and say, oh, we're sorry, we'll fix the situation. So now we got merchandise, hopefully on the bottom of this video. They should ship before Christmas. Teespring is doing that. So, yeah, it's a lot better than trusting me to get this stuff done. That's a sad thing to say about myself, but I'm being honest. All right, so I mean, hopefully they go ahead and get that done. So if you guys don't know where Disney Springs is, it used to be what downtown Disney is. It's a big, massive. It's just basically an outdoor mall in Disney in the area. But it's a pretty big deal because again, number one, it's a free area to get into. You don't have to get a ticket or anything like that. You can just park your car and get in and have fun, go to Uniqlo or go to, whatever stores and restaurants and stuff like that. I say Uniqlo because I love their clothes, and they don't have a Uniqlo up here. And they didn't have one in Miami the last time I checked, which is sad. You think of all the places they would have one, it would be in Miami, which is the mecca of shopping in the United States, in the Southeast. But hey, it's what it is. So it is coming to Disney Springs, and this is what the area looks like. And again, that's a pretty big deal. If they can get a transportation center in order to get everybody, not just to Disney Springs, but also, around to the park and connect with that would be pretty good. Don't have your hopes up that they're going to be able to connect the monorail to there or anything like that. I doubt that's going to happen. This is already as big of a deal as it's going to get already. Let's see what's checking on in the comments over here. Yeah, it could be. Let's see. Checking the comments over here. Has Brightline released how much tickets to Disney will cost? Brightline station hotels could be a good way for them to make money along their route. There's really they haven't really set the charge yet. Again, the only thing we've gotten from Brightline is that the prices will be competitive to driving or, God forbid, flying over to Orlando, which I don't know who would, there are people who do fly from Miami to Orlando, of course, business-type people, but definitely Brightline is going to be taking a massive amount of that transportation share away once it gets up and running. So that will be pretty good. Have you been on the Skyliner at Disney? Maybe they extend that to Disney Springs to connect Epcot and Hollywood Studios. That's the the gondolas that they're running at Disney. I know they're going to be connecting them over to Disney Springs, I believe, right? That should be one thing. I know when they first started out and they were building them, I was like, why would they make this? The monorail just has a higher capacity. It has air conditioning because the gondolas don't even have air conditioning. Which why would you make something without air conditioning in Florida? Like why? Why would you do that? But you have that, and They could have just gone with the monorail, but okay, they wanted to do a gondola. They thought that would be fun, so okay, they'll go ahead and do that. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think it's necessary at all. First of all, Florida is the last from an alpine environment that you would need something like, because gondolas work in places like Switzerland or Peru has a big network of those gondola systems as well. The sky gondolas, cable tracks or whatever. I don't know any other terms for it. I just call them sky gondolas. But yeah, I think it would just be all right. Okay, so JN did go on it. He went to Disney in July. Oh boy, hope you didn't melt. The pretty decent actually. The lack of AC is all right. You have a breeze. Don't expect that breeze to stay on there for that long. I mean, they're fine, but I mean, I don't know why they would do that. How many Brightline trains will be running every hour from Miami to Orlando? Probably depend on the day and time of the week. They do run trains usually every half hour, before the COOF, but that's what they're usually running them at. But that's what we're looking at. Did you find the new trains coming to Pikes Peak? I have not, XR. I think we did do something on that a couple months ago, but if there's anything else new, just please go ahead. If you have any articles or anything else you want me to cover that's going on in your area that I haven't found out about, please just let me know in the comments or email me and Holly at arcsecretary1@gmail.com any information that you guys have. But Holly will probably put a link in the comments below, so that'll be one way you can get in contact with me. Because again, I'm trying to do like a billion things at once, and I'm working on something on the other channel as well, getting that on there. I was gonna start it off with like some game videos, but I said now leave the game videos for later. Let me start it off with some analysis of something. So again, yeah, this has been big news everywhere, all over the place. And again, Brightline is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, push forward in rail transportation that this country has had in the last 50 years or so. This has been massive in order to get this deal going. And not only this, again, the Coastal Link opportunity that they have over to connect South Florida, very similar to Tri-Rail. It's another commuter link rail that they can have. So not just the stations in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, but also all the places in between, 5 miles away from each other. Very similar to Tri-Rail, if you guys are familiar with that, with the South Florida Rail Transit Administration. But it's very well needed because the US 1 corridor is the most dangerous corridor to drive in the United States, as well as it's heavily trafficked. It's a complete mess. One of the main reasons they added a median in some places of US 1 because you had so many head-on accidents. Florida drivers are just insane. So I mean, it's just a crazy place to drive, and having that at least gives people now another chance. If you want to drive, fine, okay? This channel has always been about having choices, okay? It's not about, we want to get rid of all the cars and all the planes and no more planes in America. Everybody's got to go by needs to go by high-speed rail. No, that's crazy, A. B, that you're doing a disservice to rail because rail doesn't work like that, and you're going to, overrun rail with people going from New York to California because now they're disbarred or barred basically from getting on an airplane because some horse lady in New York who thinks she's Puerto Rican says so. You guys know my politics on that. We ran something about the Green New Deal and how it was just a complete hogwash. But that's what it is. Again, we're looking for ways that work. Okay, you cannot force people to do something they don't want to do. Having the opportunity to go ahead and ride a train on US 1 instead of, going in my car every day would be a heck of a better deal instead of, that's a lot of people will think of, okay? That's what we do. I'm sure Florida drivers aren't as bad as South California drivers. Yeah, they're up there. Now we go to Florida every other year, and I have seen this. Yeah, it's and Florida's insurance. The funny thing is, when I came up here to Indiana, when they said what my insurance rate was going to be, I thought like, wait, that's for 6 months. It's not a month, because it was like I was paying maybe like somewhere of like $200 a month in copay just for my car. Not copay, just in insurance monthly for my car in South Florida, and it's like that for 6 months. It's like $40 a month over here. So I'm like, wow, that's a heck of a lot cheaper. So again, it's it's the price you pay for living in South Florida. I mean, you get a lot of good things out of it, but again, there's some good and there's some bad. Okay, that's just what it is at any other place. Speaking of Orlando, I just found this funny over here. So American Airlines is routing the biggest planes that they had, the 777s, over to Orlando. And Orlando's a big, massive airport MCO. And again, this ties into Brightline because having at least the passenger connection over there with Brightline to the MCO allows it to open up not just for people going into Disney World, but also to Tampa once they open up to Tampa, or down to even Miami and Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach. I mean, hey, if you could find cheaper tickets, let's say you're coming in from Seattle, and you want to go over to Miami, but there's cheaper tickets to MCO. Hey, you might as well just go do that and take will be maybe a $40 train ticket or $50 train ticket over down to Miami, which will probably save you $100 or whatnot. Again, there's a whole lot of ways you can get around this, but I think it's pretty interesting. Winter peak is what they're calling it. Confirmed high capacity flights through winter peak. Americans' flight schedule show as many as 4 777s flying per day from Dallas Fort Worth to MCO in December. Okay, DFW, that's Dallas Fort Worth. That's another big airport. Again, so it's about having the connections to have people be able to go from place to place in the utmost convenience with the best amount of technology and just having that available for people, okay? And I get it, cars can sometimes be convenient, sometimes I don't want to go ahead and, be in a train, or sometimes I don't want to go ahead and be in a plane, and sometimes I have a whole ton of crap that I have to take to because I'm going to go for 2 weeks down to Florida to go visit my folks for Christmas. And we're not going to take a whole bunch of gifts and whatnot. Forget going on a plane because they'll charge us a mortgage for the luggage. And there's really no trains that go down from Indianapolis to Miami straightforward unless I want to go make a whole ways around it. But again, different opportunities for different people. That's what we wanted to open it up to. Speaking of different things for different people, let's just go ahead and talk about the whole politics thing, because I know a lot of people, again, a lot of you guys agree with my politics, and that's perfectly fine, okay? You guys, and trust me on this, if people do not admit they have a bias, they're lying, don't trust them, okay? I have a bias, I'm being honest about that, okay? Of course, I'm Cuban descent, so of course I'm going to be more towards the conservative side, all right? And then my own politics go from there. And of course, you've seen from the last stream, of course, I still support President Trump and whatnot, okay? So I'm not going to be talking about, who should be winning the election or who's not, or if, Biden already won and that's it or whatnot, okay? Let's not, I'm leaving that for another channel. I'm putting my political rantings and keeping it onto another channel. For those of you who do know, you can go to that channel and see that. For those of you guys who don't agree with my politics, it's good for you because you have to hear less of it. All right, so we're going to keep this channel strictly only on politics that concerns infrastructure, high-speed rail, passenger rail, freight rail, etc. Okay, that's all we're going to keep it on. Okay, so that's what we're going to keep it on. If you guys like my politics, that's great. You have another channel to get more of it. If you guys don't like my politics, it's great for you because now you have to hear less of it on this channel. Okay, so it's a win-win situation for everybody. That's gonna be great for everybody. So that's what we're looking at. And again, I'll put links in the description below to the channels, not just my second channel, but also the political channel. So there's 3 channels if you want to count this one as well. So there's ARC, there's Demetrius Villa, there's Trumpennials. Okay, so that's 3 channels that you guys can go to. And Demetrius Villa is more of a mixture of like gaming and economic rantings and whatnot, because I did get a degree in international business, and I've been wanting to talk a lot about more economic policies and what's been going on in the world, as well as just pure business stuff. I really want to do that. Is Trump focused more on infrastructure, he'd win 400 electoral votes as Chicago Rail fan. Okay, so let's put it this way. If any of you guys think that any president is going to fix infrastructure in this country, you're sadly mistaken. There's a lot of people who put too much high hopes on one person to go ahead and fix it. All right. Unfortunately, it's not our job to save the world, guys. It's our job we can go ahead and help people in order to do that. But we cannot, as one person or one person alone, cannot go ahead and build a national network of high-speed rail. So if you're thinking that, Biden's going to be able to do it now, no, he's going to do more or less the same stuff that he did during the Obama administration, okay? Yeah, Amtrak won't go under. Amtrak didn't go under Trump, but they're not going to go ahead and fix anything with it, okay? They're not going to fix the root issues with Amtrak, which in turn, it spans from being, backstabbed by both parties on every single time they get to it, because you have one party that's always completely distracted with a whole bunch of other issues, and one party that just basically doesn't care about anything to do with infrastructure, unless it's in their own vicinity. But that's the reality of things, guys, okay? We're really going to get infrastructure done at the local and state level. Look at what Brightline has done, and look at their success, okay? They did not do that because of a president came down and gave them money and got it done. It happened mostly because local politics and because of state politics. The state politics in Florida allowed it and gave it the perfect environment to happen. Of course, Florida East Coast had the stars aligned with everything in order to make that happen, in order to already have the tracks already laid out for them, already to have the political capital and the financial capital in order to do that. They had the right people there. They were, pretty friendly with Governor Rick Scott, and they got that done. And, funny enough, Ron DeSantis has stopped, saying that he'll look into Florida's safety problems when Disney gave him like $800,000 or something like that in lobby money. So it's funny how all of a sudden Ron DeSantis, and I think Ron DeSantis is a fantastic governor for Florida. I think he's been the best governor that Florida has had in a long time. He's really, kept the state in good check, and every time I've been there, it's like, whoa, it's doing a quantum leap forward in terms financially. But in terms of that, it's a lot of it has to do with money, political will. That's what it is, guys. There is not going to be one politician that's going to do it. Obama was a massive disappointment, and not just infrastructure, but in a lot of things. I thought when he was going to get elected too, that he was going to fix a whole lot of issues. But again, let's not go into that. We already said this, is that we're not going to get into politics unless it has to do with infrastructure, okay? Whoever is in the White House, January 21st, because, again, I said this on another comment on the last video, okay? Whether you hate President Trump or whether you love President Trump, there is still a large contingency of the country that still believes that he won and that the election was stolen. And let's say that he does, miraculously get through the Supreme Court and get this done or whatnot. Then you're going to have the other half of the country that's going to think he's a dictator and just absolutely lose their complete mind. So everybody is going to lose out here, one shape, form, or another. Faith in our democracy has completely shattered. If you're... I guess if you're Hans Hermann Hoppe, you're clapping for that. But, no, that's what it is. So guys, we're gonna be okay, no matter what happens. Okay, just relax. Okay, and if you want high-speed rail, if you want better rail transportation, again, local and state politics. Because if you don't, you're gonna get dumb stuff like this that's gonna keep going up. So that's a good segue to get out of here, guys. Let me see the comments over here. Biden promised a new railroad revolution. Yeah, well. So did the last guy, and hey, Biden's been there as long as Amtrak, he can take it as many times as he wants from DC to Wilmington, but I mean, hey, the proof is right there, Yeah, oh no, it's the Hyperloop. Here we go, guys, the Hyperpoop. The Hype-poop. Here we go again. So, I told you guys this, and I said this in one live stream, that watch, they're going to get people inside the Hyperloop, and it's going to make massive big news, and it's not going to even go as fast. And I was right on all of those terms. So it's taking them a whole, basically an entire decade to finally get two people into here. So this is one article I want to look at, but let's go into an article that absolutely, is just, I think this is NPR or some sort of a PBS station, a public broadcasting station, whatnot, WBUR, I think that's what it is. But they're definitely, circle jerking themselves all over this. Human passengers travel in a Hyperloop for the first time. Oh man, here we go. I don't know why YouTube, GN, I think YouTube tried to kill your comment there, but I showed it. Susan and her check are in full force, I guess. After November 3rd, a lot of things have been just going, terribly on YouTube, but I'll talk about that at a different time. I have an episode idea for that on my other channel, Demetrius Villa. I'm going to call it, it's their tube, not your tube anymore. Just how terribly, YouTube has just corporatized itself. But this is just awful. This whole stupid thing. You have two people in seatbelts in a tube. It's not a big freaking deal. I don't think they even pressurized the tube, if I correctly remembered. They didn't even depressurize the tube. So this is this is just a stupid thing. 500-meter track, the same little 500-meter track that they've had in Las Vegas. So now they've run two people here. And again, I don't think it's going to be that dangerous or anything like that. I say it's just ridiculous because it's dumb. We have better solutions available. Why are we wasting time and money on this? Well, we know we're wasting time and money on this. It's just basically a good way to go ahead and collect as much money as you can on this vaporware, this vapor tube of transportation failing technology that they can go ahead and, take as much from that. Not even Elon Musk is working on it. And funny enough, Elon Musk is now, according to, if you count his stocks in Tesla and whatnot and his holdings, he's now the second richest person in the world. And he's not working on it, nowhere near to this extent. I mean, he's mostly working on Tesla and SpaceX, which has done incredible. If you've seen those launches, those have been pretty fun. But let's go into this article. Again, there's still a lot of hurdles to clear before the company reaches the point of moving passengers and cargo at any significant scale. This is the first new mode of transportation in over a century. Lucian says. Lucian, what's his first name? So I know who we're talking about over here. If at first you don't succeed, Control F. Sarah Lucian. Okay, Sarah Lucian is the company's director of passenger experience. Okay, and it was one of the two people to board the test. So I'm assuming it's the female over here. But then again, you can't assume anybody's gender in 2020. So I don't know. Hey, you just don't know, right? Just putting that for YouTube out there. I did not assume anyone's gender. Do not demonetize me, please. Do not demonetize me, please, Susan. Don't do it. But it's just ridiculous. We've already moved on. Even Brightline has moved on from Virgin and Branson. Notice how they haven't made a big deal about that. They're like, bye. Bye Richard, bye Felicia. They're out of here. They're not even making a big deal about that. And Richard Branson and Virgin has been having a terrible time with this or COVID punk dystopia. That's what I've been calling it, the COVID punk dystopia. But this is just hilarious. So I like this article that I found here on Defector, which is basically a not a ridiculous Deadspin sports blog or whatnot. But this is pretty interesting. I mean, I wouldn't think they would be on here, but this is pretty funny. Virgin Hyperloop has invented the world's crappiest high-speed rail. That's exactly what it is. It is indeed the crappiest high-speed rail because we already have rail technology, maglev technology, by the way, because this is what it's trying to emulate. It's trying to emulate maglev in a tube with less people, and be more expensive and waste more money. Really, come on. And these guys call themselves scientists. I don't care. They can get as mad as they want at me. I can care less. I really don't. These guys are shysters and just scam artists. It's disgusting. Shocking news. I like this guy's. Who is this? Albert Bernanke. Which is funny enough. Ever since I put out that video about Death of the Hyperloop, which I think is close to like over 700,000 views and whatnot, we've sort of changed the viewpoints of several journalists now, guys. So people are starting to wake up. And it wasn't just the oh man, I just forgot his name. The other YouTuber who's a science YouTuber who does a lot of this stuff, Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot has also done a lot of videos, but he's focused more on the scientific aspect. I focused more on the transportation infrastructure and business aspect of this, because it's stupid when you already have better technology out there that transports a heck of a lot more passengers, is far more efficient and far faster and already more established than this piece of garbage. Why do you need to make something that's going to be worse? It's essentially worse. That's what it is. It's worse. So I'll just read this article. In an incredible breakthrough for American mass transit engineering, the transportation technology company Virgin Hyperloop this past weekend successfully moved 2 people 500 meters across the barren Las Vegas desert at a top speed of just over 100 miles an hour, setting a new world record for the absolute most pitiful thing anyone not named Elon Musk has ever tried to pass off as high-speed rail. Here's a video of the shameful display. This is hilarious. You just watch this while I take a break. I need a drink. Too bad this is an alcoholic, because I need it for this. Woo! You're a scam artist. It went 100. Whoopie-doo. Big deal. That's called a train. That's called a train. Hyperloops work by creating a vacuum of air that allows vehicles to accelerate at a high speed. This is just insane.
I'll give you an example. Columbus, Ohio to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you took any single...
All right. Who wants me to take this off? Because I'm done with it. I think I'm beyond done with it. This is just insane. I can't take this level of cringe anymore. This is cringe over 600 miles an hour. And I said, even if they get the thing to Mach 1, yeah, whoop-de-doo, you got it to Mach 1. Even if it were to work perfectly to the 52 or so page alpha document that Elon Musk and a couple of SpaceX engineers put out back in, 2012 or 2013. It's taken them this long to do that when a guy in 1860s Alfred Ely Beach in New York with a couple of some no do-gooders, and they went ahead and just dig their own tunnel underneath, without the police washing them or anything like that, or without any permits or anything like that. They did it in like a couple months or something like that. They built their own pneumatic tube underneath New York, and it's taking these guys with modern technology in the frickin' 2010s. It's taking them up to 2020 to go ahead and make a frickin' pneumatic tube transportation with a maglev. It's not even pneumatic tube as well. They haven't even depressurized it as well anymore. But now it's like what, a little maglev 2 and 2 people in it. Whoop-de-doo. I've gone faster in the Buick Encore that Holly has. It's like, at 100. Don't tell her dad. I've gone faster than that. It's ridiculous. That's insane. $1 million to ride, kids. It is a scam. This is insane. Oh man, I'm not even drinking beer. I don't know if it's the sugar or what. No, it's just rage. It's endless rage. It's the the Cuban in me that's just the endless rage that we just have, and I just got to take it out on this because there's no communists yet on the front porch. I'll wait till January. I mean, all this ammo. What am I gonna do with it? Anyway, but this is funny. Virgin Hyperloop, an American company, despite the Richard Branson branding, proposes to use a combination of magnetic levitation, or maglev, a decades-old technology, actually close to over 100 years old, but it was just just now the several decades it's been in use. It has been a commercial operation moving real trains filled with real people. For example, for Shanghai, China, it speeds up to 268 miles per hour for 17 goddamn years. And Vac Train, a concept designed for an enclosed, artificially evacuated tunnel where air resistance may be as low as in the upper parts of Earth's atmosphere, theoretically allowing for much higher top speeds and much lower levels of energy consumption. It is so goddamn embarrassing to type this. France's electric TGV system has been in regular commercial operation for nearly 40 years. In April of 2007, one of its trains hits 357 miles per hour in a test. 357 miles per hour. That freaking train went back in 2007. That's almost what? Jesus Christ, I'm getting old. It was like 12 years ago. I remember seeing that on the news when it happened. I'm like, oh boy, that's so cool. Wow, gee willikers, look at that train. And now I'm like over here, it's like, look at this stupid piece of crap over here. This is 100 miles an hour. This is progress, guys. Now this is pod racing here. This is insane. What the hell is this? Oh man, and CNN's article about this event paraphrases a Virgin Hyperloop executive claiming that the Hyperloop pods can travel at the speed of aircraft, which is true in the sense that commercial aircraft with dozens if not hundreds of people aboard do sometimes travel at 100 miles per hour on the ground for seconds at a time during takeoff or landing when they are going only a fraction as fast as they're capable of going. It is true in the sense that strictly speaking a paper airplane is a form of aircraft and you can really whip some of those suckers across a room. A more accurate but perhaps less flattering claim would be that my Honda Odyssey can travel at the fastest speed Virgin Hyperloop has yet attained, and with 4 times as many people riding in it. I like this guy's snark and humor. I'm giving this guy Albert Bernanke, man. You are one true dude there, man. This is a fantastic article. This is real journalism, guys. This is journalism. This is what it is. Scathing reviews of honest, pure to goodness. Just let it all out there. This is good. And it's got like 308 comments, which are hilarious. This is just insane. Are you humble bragging about your Honda Odyssey? I blame the Segway. We all thought that would be the answer. This is just funny. So again, I'll put all the comments, links to the articles down below in the description when this video gets done. But this is just insane. Yeah. Funny enough, we went to Tampa about like 2 weeks ago again, and I went on the actual Tico streetcars. That was actually pretty interesting to go on. So we did go on the Tico streetcars. I got a whole bunch of footage of that, and we'll get that out, as soon as I can. But funny enough, I rented like the cheapest car I could, but since I'm like an Avis Preferred member or whatnot, they bumped me up to a Mustang. 2020 Ecotec Mustang, with the V6, for the same price as a Corolla. So I'm like, okay, so we take the Mustang. And we're just having a blast with it. I mean, we had so much fun in that, me and Holly. We put on synthwave when we were going over the Skyway Bridge in Tampa. That was pretty cool. We put in like 80s music. But we hit pretty fast on that thing, and it's I gotta say for a V6 in a newer car, it's pretty zippy. It feels real good. Definitely a heck of a lot more to handle than you can than the Challengers and Camaros. Those are just too heavy. And the Mustang's heavier. It's heavier than my car. My car is 3,200 pounds, and the Mustang's like 4,000 pounds. But it definitely feels a heck of a lot less heavier than those those pig fat Challengers and Camaros. Okay, so let's move on from the Hyperloop, guys. Let's bring it down a notch, because now we're getting back to reality over here instead of ridiculousness of this stuff. And I'll put out another video on this. I'm gonna start putting out like shorter videos. Again, I keep saying that, but 2 shorter videos are gonna be coming out that I'll work on this weekend on Brightline and Virgin Hyperloop for more mass consumption for the normies to learn about this, because it's important. Again, the live streams are more for all of us hardcore ARC. We're just this is like the true core group here. You guys are just the based group over here that is just making this all happen. Okay, but in order to bring more into our fold, into our cult that we got over here, into getting everybody on fast trains in America, how bad could that be? We got to spread the message out, so we got to make more videos for mass consumption over here. And again, I've dropped the ball on that, this year. Everybody's dropped the ball on a whole lot this year, but we got a lot of good things coming up, and some interviews coming up. I actually got an interview this week with somebody you guys are gonna love, so we're gonna get that going. Well, not this week, next week. So that's gonna be pretty cool. So again, we're getting back on we're back on track over here at ARC. So this is pretty good. At least one bright spot. An otherwise gloomy update on Amtrak. So the Moynihan Train Hall is going to open in January. So we've been waiting for that for years instead of going to the ugly, awful, that disgusting Penn Station, a desecration and a disgrace to the city of New York, and a disgrace just to architecture and history in general, that they destroyed one of the most beautiful, most poignant, most historically God, the old Penn Station. It just hurts my heart right here every single time I think about that. It just hurts so hard every time that they did that. But they saved, because of that, Penn Station was the ultimate sacrifice, and it saved everybody else. It just pulled up a Zeppeli there, and it just saved everybody else because of it. That was a JoJo reference if anybody's gonna say that, but it saved everybody else because of it. It's like, JoJo, take my destroyed station here. Save the stations. You cannot let modern architecture destroy the rest of this. So the Moynihan Station, which was the post office across from Penn Station, they're converting that into a station because it was done in sort of the same style, and it was saved before they were going to mess that up too because of that. Thanks to the National Register of Historic Places. So ridership during the Thanksgiving period for Amtrak is just 20% of normal, which is pretty bad. Thanksgiving is Amtrak's one of the busiest times, if not busiest times. It is the busiest times, along with Christmas time and whatnot. So they're en route to an $800 million loss. Long-distance operation has been cut by more than half, and nearly 2,000 Amtrak employees may be furloughed this month. And again, that's more employees. So it's sucking all around for Amtrak. And again, they've been doing pretty well in the last several years. They've picked up very well. It wasn't until 2020, the year of our COVID punk dystopia apocalypse, that this all just turned into a complete absolute mess, and it was going to be the first year that they would actually break even. And it just, destroyed it. Just unbelievable. So here we go. There was one bright spot. The Moynihan Train Hall in the former Farley Post Office building across from Penn Station in Manhattan is set to open in January, providing passengers with space. That's a major improvement. Emphasis on major improvement. Can I say emphasis on major improvement? Because it is emphasis on major improvement. Okay, if there's one thing this guy should have done, should put major in all caps, just major all caps, bold, and at 72 font. Over the network of subterranean corridors that have served at Penn Station since the building was demolished in the 1960s. Oh, pain. And fewer trains have enabled the railroad to complete in months infrastructure projects that otherwise would have taken years to complete. Amtrak, like the airlines, moved quickly to reassure passengers in the wake of the coup. And then again, we can say we can say COVID now apparently from YouTube, but they'll put the little yellow demonetized thing or whatnot. This is partially demonetized now. You cannot make money off of this. Instead, we're giving money to Warner soundtrack because you sounded like you were doing a good acapella there of I don't know what. It's just ridiculous. is working to keep them safe with frequent sanitizing of rail cars, mandatory wearing of face masks, and filtration systems that replaced air in the passenger compartments every 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, and this is the thing again. Whether you think this is a pandemic or a plandemic, again, all this is done to allay people's fears, right? Okay, everything that they had to do. Okay, whether you think this virus is real or not. Okay, and again, I was the first one warning about it back in January, and then everybody then started to freak out, and I said, well, it's not that. It's actually not that bad as I thought it was gonna be, you know. And everybody's like, this is the worst thing ever. We gotta hunker down, and we're doing another another thing of lockdowns. So just I'll leave it for the other channel. Leave it for the other channel, Demetrius. Just stop. Still, Amtrak saw 15 million fewer passengers year over year, said Amtrak board chairman Tony Cosia. Bill Flynn, Amtrak CEO, said in just 1 month, ridership dropped by 97%. And that was, I think, back in March or something. It was just awful. Excuse me. I had a cough there. The one bright spot, everyone, including airlines, is now on a level playing field. yes and no. It's true that, yes, everybody has lost a whole lot, and they kind of have to start from square one. The problem is the airlines are still they still have the playing field rigged toward them. Okay, and we saw this, throughout the several months of how much the airlines were getting in terms of bailout money, and saying, "Oh, we promise not to furlough any of our crew members unless you give us, $40 billion. We'll just hold the country at gunpoint. Give us $40 billion now." "Why, sure thing. Here you go," said the Senate. "Here you go," said the Congress. "Okay," said President Trump, and just stamped that off there and gave it to them. And they say, "Oh yeah, we're laying off people anyway. Give us more money, please." And they'll just say yes. But hey, the people get. I hope you enjoyed that $1,200. I guess that's all we get, and the Amtrak's probably gotten less than that. They've gotten a couple million. Just a couple million. It's not 40 billion, but it's a couple million. They should be grateful for the couple of millions that they get from both the Democrats and the Republicans. They should be grateful. Unbelievable, just unbelievable. Yeah, and they exactly, Michael. They got the money and they furloughed them anyway. It's just insane. All right. The railroad says it needs $4.9 billion to avoid additional cutbacks. I mean, what? That's about a tenth of what the airlines got. That's all they need. Hopefully, officials say Congress will provide funding. Okay. With the money, Amtrak could begin to restore service frequencies on long-distance trains, recall furloughed employees. That should be the first thing you should do, is, bring back the people, and continue infrastructure improvements. And that should be second, okay? Again, long-distance trains, while they're nice and they provide people a lot of services, and again, this is coming from someone who has, relied on long-distance trains on the Silver Medium and the Silver Star to go from Miami to New York. Okay, and a lot of other people rely on those. The thing is that Amtrak does not do well on that. It is a big money sink for them, and they really do need to focus. If they really want to bring better transportation and better trains for everywhere else, and better infrastructure, and focus on building up and modernizing the infrastructure, they need to focus on just their main cores and getting those up to speed. Okay, sure, they can still run several long distance trains here and there, on demand, when there's enough demand. But you cannot keep doing this. That's going to be the reality of it, guys. And I've been saying this. I said this for years. And then people were upset at me. It's like, oh, how could you support that Amtrak is going to take away the long distance? They can't afford it. They've never been able to afford it. That's one of the core parts of the problem. Okay, the core part of Amtrak's problem is that it has to function like a private entity, but still be under government, tow. So they have to, operate this way. But if they lose money, it's their fault and not the government's, or not the other freight railroads that basically skirt the entire law. And passenger railroads are supposed to get first priority in movement. But freight railroads just keep running over Amtrak, and Amtrak just keeps, bending over for them. And the government does nothing. So, again, it's part of the main core issues. It's one of the things that Amtrak needs to fix up. Again, is it necessary for Amtrak to be part of this country? Yeah. It's what we have right now. Do we want something better? Absolutely. Whether it's a private entity that takes over Amtrak or parts of Amtrak or whatnot, or whether Amtrak magically and miraculously gets its act together and becomes, Japan or France tier, which is never going to happen. Okay, so you guys thinking that's going to happen, it's not. It's wishful thinking. It's nice, but it's wishful thinking. But that's what it is, But again, some good things they are doing, and everybody is doing this, like Brightline and other places. Amtrak accelerates infrastructure work amid pandemic losses. So they have used the coronavirus-induced collapse and demand for travel to push ahead with a number of infrastructure and investment projects, despite posting a loss of $801 million for the financial year to September 30th. Again, it's just the same stuff. But again, nevertheless, Amtrak continues to invest, reporting a capital spend on infrastructure and rolling stock of $1.9 billion for 2020, and completing installation of PTC on all routes which it manages. So that's good. Okay, that's very good. And again, people should take this time, whether you've been laid off, like me or a whole lot of other people that have been laid off or whatnot, or whether your business is absolutely falling apart, at least take advantage of the downtime that you have and see what you can do to either adapt or improve yourself in order to go ahead and move along, okay? Because, crap's going to happen. It's just going to happen. How we react to things in life is what's going to make our life, okay? That's really what it comes down to. The company also reported that good progress was being made in early commissioning of the next generation of Acela Express intercity train sets for the Northeast Corridor. Again, so the Avalia is coming a bit earlier. Okay, I think they were saying 2022, but it's coming. It's coming next year, guys. Avalia is here. It seemed like almost yesterday that we were saying, oh wow, look, the new Avalia that they've unveiled by Alstom and whatnot. They're gonna build it here in the United States. When I was on with Mark Licari on that live stream, which did fantastically well, if you guys remember that. That was one of our best live streams. It had like 100,000 views. And me and Mark were saying the same thing about this. It'll take a little bit longer, but Amtrak needs to focus on a whole lot of other things. That was when Rick Mormon was becoming chairman of Amtrak at the time, which Amtrak has now gone through 3 different CEOs. For better or for worse. Again, we'll see how this goes on. I think it's been doing marginally better. It can do a heck of a lot better, but of course, it's Amtrak. And again, everybody says I bashed Amtrak too much or what. No, I want Amtrak to succeed. Okay, because if Amtrak succeeds, American rail infrastructure succeeds too. I want the company to do well. Okay, or somebody to do well in its place. It was just let's have good trains. If it's going to be Amtrak, fine. If it's not, then let's get moving. All right. Stations and accessibility focus. Amtrak is also forging ahead with major investment in stations, led by its partnership with New York State, New Jersey Transit, to expand 10th Station in New York by redeveloping the former Farley Post Office building as an additional concourse for intercity passengers. I wonder if nobody has posted a picture of that. Oh yeah, by the way, if any of you guys are in the city in Manhattan or anywhere in New York, New Jersey area, you know what I'm saying. They are running the Avalias. I have seen some videos out there of some people catching them in the wild, and I was thinking of going over to New York over to go see that, but forget it. And there's been a lot of things that's been happening family wise. Again with that, well just recently my uncle passed away. I don't know if you guys have heard. I put this in a Patreon video, but my uncle passed away, and he was instrumental to a lot of what I'm doing right now. He was the one that got me into video editing and animation and all that type of stuff. And he was having open heart surgery to get a bypass done, and it wasn't going so well to get him back out of there, and he got infection in his lungs, and then they had to put him in an induced coma, and then he was brain dead. So just like that, somebody who was vibrant, humorous, and just an absolute joy to be around with, and had nothing but good things to say about everybody and to help them out and whatnot, gone just like that. But that's life, guys. It just happens like that. God bless his soul, and he's in a better place right now. But that's just how things happen. Try not to get too emotional there, but anyway. So let's go on back into this. A newly developed greenhouse gas emissions calculator will give potential passengers the ability to compare the emission of rail versus other modes. I don't know why that's such a big priority. If you have 2 brain cells to rub together, of course you know that trains are a heck of a lot cleaner than cars and planes. But hey, it's what it is. Yeah. Thank you guys. I'm reading the comments right now. All right. But yeah, this is what's going on with Amtrak now. So this is a good thing, When you have the downtime like this, it's good to go ahead and focus on, what doesn't work in your area. What can you fix up to make better? So that's what they're doing. They're going with New Jersey Transit to fix the New Brunswick, Trenton, and Princeton Junction stations. Elizabeth spent on ADA accessibility, which had been needed. It's pretty much one of the worst things if you're handicapped on Amtrak. Is having to be lifted and hoisted up onto the trains because the platforms are not level with the trains. Again, that has to do because, the trains themselves are not level with the platforms. And that's kind of the problem. So at least with this, like, with the Avalia and whatnot, they're at least trying to put it, level to the platform so you don't have to climb up like that. But, that they're really hopefully fixing that. A $29 million they're putting into the Homewood Station in Illinois. So a lot of good things that's happening on Amtrak. So they're doing it, and there's a lot more work to go. Of course, the Hudson tunnels are one thing. Again, clock is ticking for 110-year-old Hudson River Rail Tunnel. So if you guys go into New York, from New Jersey or whatnot, you're going to go into this tunnel. It's going to be nice and slow going into here, and it's going to be clunky. Okay, you're going to be moving around all there until you get to Penn Station as you're, creeping in there like, 20 miles an hour or whatnot. But this is crazy. So the tunnel has been messed up since Hurricane Sandy, all the years ago whenever Sandy happened at this point, Superstorm Sandy. But a lot of places, a lot of underground infrastructure, tunnels, wiring, piping, etc. has not really recovered too well from the amount of soot and salt water that has went and corroded it. Especially for some reason, we've gone backwards in terms of concrete technology. The Romans have been able to figure out concrete that doesn't mess up in terms of salt water. We haven't been able to figure that out and how the heck they were able to do it. So the concrete is basically crumbling apart. And they've been basically holding it up as much as they can with, duct tape. Well, not literally duct tape, but you know how things are on Amtrak. There are some things that are literally held up with duct tape on Amtrak. And I filmed that, and I remember we putting that they had to go ahead and tape up a door that was swinging on an AC unit in one of the sleeper cars that just kept swinging open, and had people on the side of the head when they were walking through. There was an old lady that was going through with a cane, and she was holding on, and the thing just goes up, and she's holding back, and luckily we were all going there that she was able to to lean back on one of us to make sure she didn't fall down. But that was just insane. Amtrak could let that happen, but it's not Amtrak's fault. I mean, they don't have the resources in order to fix all this up. They don't. Impetus for the effort grew over the last 4 years as a funding impasse between the local officials and President Donald Trump's administration stalled the project to build a new tunnel. Last year, a separate study found rail travelers had experienced delays of 5 hours or more 85 times in the previous 5 years. Just this week, infrastructure failures in the tunnel on successive days caused dozens of trains to be delayed. We don't want to wait for a catastrophic problem. We want to get ahead of it. And yeah, again, it's a big freaking deal. The election of Joe Biden as the next U.S. president has raised hopes that the project will move forward. Again, wishful thinking, but keep doing it. A lot of this has to do, again, with mostly the local politics from Cuomo and whoever the new, or has been the new governor of New Jersey, which they really haven't been pushing up on. They've been trying to make it look like a political problem, but it really isn't. That's the problem. Hudson River rail tunnels between New York and New Jersey can remain in use while they're repaired, says consultants. Again, so if they can be able to repair it, that would be good. And they can keep, running it along as they go ahead and do that. The report lays out how crews can close one tube at a time on nights and weekends for repairs, a similar strategy that was used by the MTA to repair the L train's East River Tunnel. The new tunnels are still needed to act as a backstop if the old ones crumble, the report says. The strategy laid out in the report would also allow the current tunnels to be repaired more than 5 years quicker than current plans because the work would begin earlier. That would save on cost increases that come with inflation, the report says. Okay, so again, there's ways to fix it and whatnot. This is interesting. The U.S. Department of Transportation has not moved forward with the project's environmental impact statement since President Trump took office, but the FRA spokesman David James said the delay is based on the merits of the plans and not politics. FRA officials believe the new tunnels are important to expand capacity into Penn Station, but do not think they're necessary to repair the current tubes, according to James. Again, that's the problem, okay? It's not that President Trump wants to keep money away from New York and New Jersey, in order to have the trains. It's mostly due to the FRA and the local politics in the area not pushing it along as a priority. It is a priority, okay? It's only the most traveled rail corridor in the United States. It can wait. That's what the FRA is doing. So the FAA has been working to revise and update the ongoing EIS study for the new Hudson Tunnel project to better reflect project impacts due to expanded rail service or any potential impacts from near-term rehabilitation, said James. Okay, so if you want a guy to blame, I wouldn't blame the spokesman. I mean, he's just saying what he is. If you want somebody to blame, it's the FRA. Nothing different with that, but hey, it's what it is. I remember sitting with some of the meetings in the FRA with all aboard Florida at the time, Brightline. But I was sitting in the meetings and whatnot, the private meetings and stuff like that. Again, I won't go into the confidential stuff they said. Not that anything is confidential anymore, because we already know the trains and what they're called and whatnot. But the real problem is that a lot of these people at the FRA, they're just a whole bunch of older fuds and boomers. Again, no offense to any of the boomers who follow us, but again, if you're a good boomer, like I said before, clap. You're one of the minority, and if you're a good millennial, half of us and good Zoomers, clap because you're in the minority. Give yourself a pat on the back for actually caring about infrastructure in your company and not caring about some mumble rapper or whatever BS is going on in pop culture or whatnot, or getting more Funko Pops or whatnot. I've never been into those things. I just like collecting trains. That's my thing. But because I got them all here on my desk, all the trains. Here we are. This is faster than the Hyperloop right here. Again, well, the actual real counterpart can go, could reach speeds of 400 miles an hour. But again, carries passengers, and we could have seen it this year in the Tokyo Olympics. But no. Somebody in China just had to cough. They just had to. And that was the end of 2020. And we've been in our rooms ever since. That's been the story so far. Yeah, here we go. There we go. I like you guys' comments, okay? We are a no BS zone over here. I can't say the actual word because the checkout will demonetize me, but that's what it is. Ricardo's asking any news of California high-speed rail. Not any news that I have over here, so there's no news on California high-speed rail. We're almost done. We got 4 more articles to go. We're just keeping this nice and neat and calm and cozy until for Thanksgiving, guys. So that's what we're doing. And then we'll go ahead and there you go. Yes, Michael, say it for me, please. Thank you. Even though I can't say it back there, I mean there is a sign that technically does have it. I haven't taken that down. I mean, again, I'm not going to talk about the politics, but you guys know me. But that's what it is. Anyway, who's calling me now? Who's calling me? Yeah, we have the Gateway program to wait for. And again, there's a whole lot of other like the Ameristar Rail project, which again I got to get in contact with those guys and see what's going on. Because that does look like an interesting plan, to be quite honest. Amtrak, the redheaded stepchild of the U.S. government. It's true, and that's the thing. Amtrak just keeps treated like crap. It's treated like crap by both parties, and they don't get the proper funding that they need or the time of day. Yeah, Big Boss is calling. I've had this ringtone on every single phone I've had since about 2008. I've always been a big MGS fan. I ticked off Holly playing MGS5. I finally got it for the PS4 last year because I took out the PS4 and then I never played it when I was working. And then when I got laid off the first time, I'm like, well, I have this thing here. I have never played it in the month that I got it, so I might as well give it a try and give it a shot or whatnot. So yeah, that was pretty fun to finally tie up the saga. But I was pretty disappointed in the story. Everybody knows that about Metal Gear Solid 5. That was yep, we're still on, Holly. Oh, you were the one calling. That was the boss there calling. I'm Big Boss and she's the boss. How is Texas Central HSR going so far? So far, the last I've heard of it, they are still moving ahead, and they did win their court case. I haven't heard anything else since then. What is your email for ARC? It's arcsecretary1@gmail.com. If Holly can put that up there again, that would be nice. I'll see if I can put it there. Arcsecretary. Terry1 at... Man, I gotta take off these contacts at some point. There we are. There's the email address. So if you guys want email me articles or anything like that before these live streams or whatnot, or email me throughout the week, and I'll go ahead and put them out there. If you guys have pictures or videos or anything you want to send, I'm trying to get back onto the Instagram game as well, so we can have more user submitted content, because we're a club after all, right? So that's always fun. Again, some more Amtrak stuff over here. Amtrak warns of more cuts without additional funding. Again, more or less much of the same stuff as we've been going over before. He added, hopefully Congress will provide additional funding for the remainder of the fiscal year. And of course, we look forward to working with President-elect Biden and President-elect Harris, their teams in Congress, to address the urgent need that we have. Again, I won't say anything until January 21st. Let's see what happens. But hey, I'm not accepting anything. I'm not expecting anything big. Flynn's response to a question came during the company's annual media call announcing financial results from the fiscal 2020 and the outlook for 2021. Asked about possible layoffs, Flynn said as many as 1,600 workers operating state-supported trains could be furloughed if funding remained at the current levels. When we have to make those decisions depends on how long the uncertainty remains, said Senior Executive VP Stephen Gardner, who was also on the call. For the year that ended September 30th, Amtrak says its operating revenue, including payments from state-supported routes, decreased 31.9% to $2.3 billion from fiscal 2019 totals. Ticket revenue, however, was $1.24 billion, down 47.3%, according to full-year totals obtained by Trains Newswire. Again, so they have not been having a good year at all. Funny enough, when you look at this, of the corridors that have been down the most has been the Northeast. And again, why the Northeast? Well, they've had the worst of the lockdowns, of course, with New York and whatnot. So the amount of fiscal revenue out of there has gone down quite significantly. But again, if you look in the millions, actual ticket revenue, the Northeast corridor is still the most amount of money that Amtrak gets. So that's again, this is where they should be focusing on. Okay. And again, long distance rail, the figure here, it seems more than the state supported, but again, I don't know where they're, how the numbers here are exactly calculated. But again, remember, long distance is a little bit overinflated in regards to mileage, because again, we're talking about the whole entire country in long distance trains. The Northeast corridor is just that small corridor between Washington D.C. to Boston. So again, it's why it's almost twice the amount of money than the entire country. So it goes to say a lot. Again, Amtrak should have most of its focus in the Northeast corridor. The replacement of the Portal Bridge in New Jersey is one of the infrastructure projects Amtrak hopes to begin in 2021. Yeah, because that's also falling apart. That bridge is close to 100 years old or so. This shows the impact of Northeast Corridor ticket revenue to Amtrak's overall results and the relative contribution of each service category when the totals aren't average with pre-pandemic operation. And again, everybody's hurting over here, but let's see what happens. And they did get a federal grant from the FRA, so I mean, the FRA does its own thing until we get new blood in the FRA. A lot of these problems aren't going to get fixed, and even when that does happen, it's not a magic panacea that fixes everything overnight, and all of a sudden the trains are running on time and at 200 miles per hour, and they've all turned into N700 Shinkansens. That's not going to happen. But still, at least let's get one step forward with this. $160 million in federal grants for Amtrak upgrade projects, and again, these have been in the works for years as well. The Connecticut River Bridge Replacement Project is going to receive $62 million. For the Walk Bridge Replacement Project is going to receive $79 million. Okay, so this again in Connecticut, which again it's part of the tri-state area, so that's a big deal that they're able to get that fixed up there. So again, good things are happening. SEPTA, in partnership with Amtrak and Pennsylvania PennDOT, also received $15.9 million to improve signaling on the Amtrak-owned Harrisburg line, also known as the Keystone Line, which is that's a pretty big line. Pennsylvania is an important state for more reasons than one. The line serves Amtrak's Pennsylvania and Keystone Service intercity services. Okay, so that's good if they're able to get that done. All right. Yeah, these government agencies and keeping things intact is another joke and should be disbanded. I agree, Grambo. Speaking of, if you really want to get angry at government agencies, look at this stuff that I just found over here. So this is going to be, this is rage-inducing over here. This was about 2 days ago that when I saw this. And I usually, when I wake up, I go ahead and I get my phone, I look at my news feed while I'm there having a cafecito. I'm not having Black Rifle coffee anymore. Bustelo is still a hell of a lot better and cheaper too. Anyway, that's for another channel, Demetrius. For another channel. Uber and Lyft just scored a huge federal transportation contract. So you guys are not going to like this. I didn't like this. The U.S. government awarded a big transportation contract to Uber and Lyft this week, authorizing the ride-hailing company to provide transportation for up to 4 million federal employees and their families. The GSA, the General Services Administration, the procurement arm for the federal government, granted the 5-year contract to Uber and Lyft. The companies confirmed. Get ready for this. I need a little bit of a drink before we get into the actual numbers here. The contract is worth up to $810 million. Though it's unclear how much each company will receive. So these guys who are supposed to be a government company, but technically has to run as like a privatized company, they get this much. They get this much, but private companies that basically skirt as many laws as they can in order to say that these workers aren't really workers. They're just contractors. So we'll just give them pennies per mile while they drive their cars into the ground and never really make any money. And treat their employees like garbage and skirt as many laws and get through as many tax hoops as they can. They get this much. They get that much. Yeah, exactly. Uber doesn't need even. You guys are again, quit the comments. This is just insane. This is the problem, guys. It's not gonna change no matter who is in the Oval Office on the 21st of January. Okay, that's not gonna change. All right. This is how it's been. This is how it's always been. I'm not here trying to black pill you guys, but this is the reality of what we're working against. No, they won't reject it. It's a government agency, guys. So the government agencies can basically bypass, since they're part of technically the executive branch. They can bypass Congress and just basically give the funding out. Now, like the FRA can get funding, as they please. Let's say there's like a couple, some projects in different areas, like a light rail project or something like that, or anything with Tiger grants or anything like that they'll give out. Or the DOT will also give out grants. That's money usually procured to them by Congress, and Congress says, hey, do with whatever you want with this money. And they say, okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now, Congress, on top of that, can also approve more funding for, just by itself. Again, they can do it through one of these agencies, or they can give the agencies money and say, do what you want with it and do what you will. But most of the time for Congress to really do that, A, it's going to be really hard. B, Congress has a real hard time figuring out how to make laws or just regular statements or proposals, keeping it to one page or to a Post-it note. Okay? Why? Because they have this much of a problem to go ahead and approve $1,200 per person, through the pandemic, but yet they have to go ahead and throw in, 600 other pages of other BS in order to go ahead and fund their buddies or fund some sort of, modern arts project in their home state, in their hometown somewhere, some swanky hometown where the houses cost, at minimum, $1.2 million. So they have to give their expressive art studios playhouse that does Shakespeare, in the tune of ancient Zimbabwean 400th century style or something. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up at this point, but this is just insane. We're congratulating David here. What's going? Oh, David, congratulations, man! Just got hitched. Nice, man. Congratulations. Awesome. Good job, man. All right. But there, yeah, congratulations, guy. That's good. Yeah, everybody, if you're still in the comments, if you haven't congratulated David, give David a big round of applause there. That's a good thing, David, man. Keep it up. But what I'm saying over here, back to what I'm saying over here, this is just insane. So what is this for? Again, we'll go through the article, we'll figure this out, and, again, 4 million federal employees and their families to provide transportation for. So what does this mean? So if you work at the federal government and you're something, you have your inflated GS-12 contract and you're getting, double the amount of somebody in the private sector, along with, your swanky, health care and everything else already. You're going to get free Uber and Lyft probably at this point. That's what they're saying. This is insane, and it's sick. While individual federal employees have previously been able to use ride-hail services for travel, the new contract allows companies to formally launch their services within the agencies and work directly with officials to promote the service. AKA, it's free rides. Free rides. That's what they're doing. They're giving everybody free rides on Uber and Lyft if you work for the government, especially in DC or whatnot. Again, but not for Amtrak. To actually help people. The new contract allows the company, not that federal, employees or people, but I mean, again, how about the citizens you serve? The new contract allows companies to formally launch their services. Oh, we already read that. A natural next step for us. The contract was awarded to Uber for Business, the ride-hailing company's business-to-business division. The expansion of our customer base to include government is a natural next step for us, and we're proud to help federal agencies tackle some of the biggest administrative challenges they face. Ronnie Gurian, global head of Uber for Business, said in a statement. It's just insane. Lyft also hailed the contract as a good sign for growth for its business. Yes, free money. Who doesn't like free money, right? Of course, these big private businesses do. Welcome to our COVID punk corporatocracy that we're living in, guys. This is how it's been. You're just seeing the reality of it. A spokesperson for the GSA did not immediately respond for a request for comment. But in a blog post back in April, the agency says it was able to negotiate a 2 to 4% discount with the companies compared with large commercial customers. Like, which other large commercial customers? Because these are really the only two guys in the industry when it comes to ride-hailing services. Uber and Lyft also agreed to waive technology fees charged to back-office vendor data and reporting capabilities, the agency said. Wait a second, hold on. Uber and Lyft also waive technology fees and reporting capabilities? Wait, so does that mean they don't report on, where government employees go or whatnot? So we have to get tracked, but they don't? Or they just get charged less? Of course, again, if you're a government employee, again, usually what this means is that, your agency will pay for it. You don't have to pay for it personally yourself. It's insane and it's angering. The contract of Uber and Lyft modernizes official travel and will make it easier and cheaper to use rideshare services for official travel. Yes, just to go ahead and abuse it like you do with the airlines already. Federal Acquisition Service Assistant Commissioner for Travel, Transportation, and Logistics Charlotte Phelan wrote, "No new apps to download, no paper receipts to lose." Perfect. So now they can just go ahead and just claim all that, not pay anything for it. It's ridiculous, it's insane, it's sick, and it shouldn't be allowed. It should not be allowed. Let's see the anger in the comments over here. Yeah, we're gonna have to be fighting for tubing rail, high-speed rail here in the U.S. now. Yeah, this new decade, yeah, it's true, Axcar. Yeah, the 2020s, well, it is still going to be. The 2020s is going to be the year that high-speed rail becomes a big deal over here. And we've heard in the last decade, when we were just getting started and, I was still back in college and all those, fun times and all that. But, that high-speed rail was just a dream here in the United States. And, it could happen. It could be possible. Now we know it is possible. And now we're seeing due dates of, 2021 and 2025 and, 2028 if California gets this act together. Spoiler alert, it's probably not. But, this is going to be the year, the years and decades that we actually try to catch up here with infrastructure, okay? Again, it's not going to be, everything's going to be fixed and the sun's going to set on a beautiful, connected America in 2030 with high-speed rail all over the place, okay? Because people have sold that vision back in 2008, and then look what happened with that, or racism completely ended in 2008. Yeah, no, it did not. We're on the verge here, guys, of like violent outbreaks in the street. But again, not one person is gonna fix deep-seated, rooted problems in this country. Okay, and if anybody still thinks that, there's a place called Neverland, and that's where you belong. Let's see. I don't know. It could be the Roaring Twenties. I don't know, guys. I don't know about the Roaring Twenties, but let's see. But let's say something else here before we get into questions in the comments. This is the last article I had, guys. This year has been rough. It's been a rough year, but again, things could be a lot worse for you. I remember I was listening to like or I think it was Holly was listening to a Dave Chappelle skit and whatnot, and he was talking to Africans in Africa, talking about how blacks in America have it different than blacks in Africa, but the guy was saying it's like the guy in Africa is saying like I envy you Americans and whatnot. It's like it's like he's in like Dave Chappelle saying how come, it's like have you ever ate a dog? It's like yeah, we've had to eat dogs over here. It's like just like, and Dave's point was like this. It's like it can never be that bad. If you didn't have to eat a dog that day, it's not that bad. And a lot of people are suffering right now because of the massive amounts of unemployment, no help in sight from any party in the government, and they don't want to get together and just pass a simple bill to just help the people. Again, the airlines get first bid, and the people get first bid. There's no bailouts for the Americans, for American people. There's only bailouts for the companies. But most people in need for food this Thanksgiving since the Great Depression, data shows. So it's pretty insane. Over 50 million Americans may be in need this Thanksgiving. That's a big amount. That's a big number, guys. Due to COVID-19, and many states around the country are reaching Depression-era levels of hunger, according to data from the nation's 6th largest hunger relief organization. So that's 1 in 6 people, 1 in 6 Americans. Okay, the number equates to roughly 1 in 6 adults and 1 in 4 children in the U.S. who are struggling to meet their basic food needs. Yeah, out of 300 million, 50 million, yeah, that's about 1/6. 1/6 people are starving. The numbers are staggering. Eugene Cho, CEO for Bread for the World, a religious nonprofit that works to prevent food insecurity, said in an interview with National Public Radio with NPR. We're talking 54 million people in our backyards, in our city, in our nation right now. That's 1 in 6 Americans. The pandemic has significantly impacted levels of food insecurity throughout the country as million Americans continue to face income loss and joblessness. A Northwestern study found that food insecurity during the pandemic had doubled nationally and tripled for households with children. So again, it's pretty sad. We're back to the depression, and seeing these lines. Except the only difference is instead of people dressed up dapper with hats and suits and whatnot, we're all just schlepping around with hoodies and masks. This wasn't the future I was looking forward to, but that's what we get. Jesus Christ, I need alcohol right now. I'm joking, guys. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm just making a joke. But this is just terrible. It's terrible. So again, just this Thanksgiving and tomorrow, if you guys are with your families, and be with your families. Enough with this BS that you have to be 6 feet apart or whatnot. And nobody's gonna come after me to say, oh, you can't say that and whatnot. No, we've already known that herd immunity and whatever. I'm not gonna talk about it. That's for a different thing. But if you can be with your family, be with your family, okay? Because this is the first time this year I'm not gonna be with my family down in Florida. So I'm hanging out with Holly's family this Thanksgiving. So it's the first time I spent Thanksgiving with a different family. They're still family, but they're not my immediate blood related family down in Florida. But, spend time with your family, and give grace to God or, whoever you worship or whatever you worship. Hopefully not the guy down below with the pitchfork, but, whoever you worship, Almighty God, just give thanks that, if you have a Thanksgiving and you have family, to be with them this Thanksgiving, and sharing the food and say, things could be a lot worse. At least we're not having a dog on the table for Thanksgiving roasted, At least we're not eating our dog. We're having food and stuff like that. And we still live in a country where there's an opportunity, at least. There still is. As bad as it gets in this country, or as bad as it's going to get, it's not as bad as other places. Okay, it is nowhere near as bad as other places. Okay, but this is what I'm talking about, guys. Okay, be thankful for what you got, and we're gonna get through this. We're all gonna get through this. And again, relax. What's going on politically? Relax. It's gonna be fine. Okay, whether you think the election was stolen, or whether you want everybody to shut up and just, he's president-elect now. It's not a conspiracy. Get him in now. It's over. It's over. He's president now. Whichever side you're on, just relax and calm down. Neither of these guys are going to come up and shake your hand and give you $1 million and say you're a great fellow. Okay? None of these guys are going to fix your life. The only guy who's going to fix your life is going to be you. And the only people who are going to be able to fix high-speed rail in this country is going to be you in your local area with a group of people in your states, in your capitals, and whatnot. Okay? It's going to take a tremendous amount of people. Well, not a tremendous amount of people, but it's going to take groups of people to make this happen. Okay? And it starts with you. Okay? It starts with you. You, the viewer. You, the rider on this crazy, wild ride that we're on the tracks every single day here at American Rail Club. All right, so on that note, let's go ahead and get in some of the comments here. So let's see what we got over here. Hopefully when the COOF ends, will you do another meetup event like you did in Florida once? Yeah, so I was planning several events that we were going to start. It was going to go in March when we had the High Speed Rail Conference that was going to be up in Chicago for the High Speed Rail Association. And, of course, that completely went up in the air. But you'll be glad to hear that we'll be having a special guest next week. For that, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah. So again, once this whole thing ends, I would go anyway and do the meetups, but the logistics are just going to be a problem with how many people are going to be there and whatnot. So I'd rather not risk it, and I'd rather just let it simmer down, and then we can just keep doing live streams and do another meetup. Yeah, we'll do a meetup in Chicago. Once this whole thing ends. We'll get there. Yeah, we should meet at Disney when it's ready. That'll be pretty fun if we can do that. Yeah, Chicago definitely will be another one. What is going on with California High Speed Rail? Again, we're still working on it. Okay. Why do you think would have to change the screw over the airlines and teach them a lesson? First of all, let's not say it like that, because we're not trying to get revenge on the airlines or anything like that. Look, they're taking advantage of a situation. That's what it is. If you were a company and you knew that you could get away with a lot, you would do it. Probably most people are. You're not going to be above that. Most people would do it. It has to be a lot of policy change. And unfortunately, that's going to be something on the federal government level, because that's really more with the FAA. Yeah, airlines is a tough business. Did you ever watch Do Not Eat 01's video about Musk's loop? Yeah, I did watch that. Musk's, what was it? Musk's crazy loop or something like that. And again, I agree with him on, especially we don't agree politically on a lot of things, but he's absolutely right on that. Indonesia is almost done with its high-speed rail. Yeah, they'll get real high-speed rail before us. Trust me. I don't doubt it. Morocco got real high-speed rail before us. If I give you the link now, do you want to see? Yeah, sure, Askar. If you give us the link right now, I'll go ahead and look at that. Where would the location for the meetup be? Yeah, if we were to do the meetup, most of the meetups I was looking for was either going to be in Florida, Chicago, maybe New York, and I know there's some people who do live on the West Coast or in Texas or whatnot, so we could have seen if what that is. Axcar, if you can't put it in the comments so I can see it, because I can't get to that email right now because I have the screen set up perfectly. I don't want to mess up the screens opening up the email and stuff like that. So just put it here in the comments. If YouTube doesn't allow it, I'll just go ahead and open it up myself. Where in Chicago? It will probably be wherever the High Speed Rail Association has their meeting. We'll probably do it like at the Giordano's or something like that. It'll be plenty of time for us to get like a pizza and then like just talk for whatever hour it takes for them to make a freaking pizza. Or actually, I'll just go to like Uno, the actual original Uno. If you guys have ever been to Pizzeria Uno, the actual original Uno over there in Chicago, it's pretty damn good. With people working remotely, the need and demand for Brightline and other high-speed rail projects will suffer. That's absolutely true, Renell Reed. Which is why it's important that we need to get back on track over here. Brightline Disney are awesome team, and I love it. Yeah, they're doing great. What's going on in Florida is pretty great. And with Brightline, again, Brightline is being they're a massive influence on the rest of the country, and they've been instrumental in getting other projects also to say, hey, look, that's a good example of what we can do with privatized, passenger rail. We can do the same thing over here, like Texas. Okay, and Texas has been, pointing a lot at Brightline and saying, hey, look, this is what they can do. We can do the same thing over here. Why not meet at Chicago Union Station? We could meet at Chicago Union Station too. Again, when the time comes to meet at Chicago, we'll go ahead and see. Holly, if you can send me the link to that, I'll go ahead and open that up now from Axar. Thailand is also making progress at high-speed rail project. Yeah, it is. I did a video on Thailand and what was going on with that. Again, I don't think it's a good deal to have it with the Chinese, but time will tell. I mean, we've seen what they've done with Africa and with their rail projects, but hey, it's what it is. Meet in New York City. Yeah, I would meet in New York City. Maybe I'll get like all of us like 2 or 3 pizzas, and we'll just meet up. I love pizza. It's my second favorite food after hamburgers. I'm as American as can be. It's like, what's your favorite food? Hamburger. What's your second favorite pizza? What's your third? Steak. Oh, maybe sometimes steak is first in that order. Yeah, the new Moynihan Station in New York. Yeah, this will be not in Penn Station. I like my sanity. Probably be like Penn Station is where I think if Gollum from the Lord of the Rings were to be like transported into our world, he would hang out at the Penn Station. Favorite hamburger chain? Out of the fast food hamburger chains, definitely Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake is the best. They're cleaner hamburgers too. They're not as like every time I have McDonald's. In 15 minutes, I'm going to the bathroom. It's coming out the way it came in. But with Steak and Shake, you know it's a good burger when it's not coming out that fast, all right? Because your body is digesting it, it's taking it all in, and it's like, this is good stuff. So it's like, I agree, stomach. It is good stuff. We should keep it in there. So that's how I rate burgers in this end. I like there's like different just different tiers of Steak and Shake is like tier 1 of the bottom bottom of the barrel fast food like McDonald's or Wendy's and whatnot. Wendy's is pretty good. What was it? Was it Big Boy hamburgers too? That was also pretty good as well. BurgerFi back in Florida is also one of my favorites. Yeah, or Golem would hang out at the Port Authority too. Yeah, that's funny, Mohammed. That is. Five Guys is pretty good. In-N-Out is overrated. Yeah, when I went to In-N-Out the first time that me, Alex, and John were going to Japan, we had a layover in San Francisco, and I was there with Alex. So we're like, hey, let's go ahead and check out San Francisco. The city sucked, so we came back and we're like, okay, let's go ahead and check out In-N-Out Burger. So we took an Uber to an In-N-Out Burger, and we're like, oh, this must be a big deal. There's a whole big giant line and whatnot. This was again. Gather around, children. This is before the great pandemic. Gather around and we will talk about how it was like. People did not have to wear masks on their face, and they could be able to go ahead and order food and sit down like normal human beings and eat. They would eat without having the coverings. So we got there. We had with a burger, and we're like, I've been told by everybody this is the biggest deal back in Florida, and this is not. I was not thrilled about that. You know what was really good? Whataburger. Whataburger was that definitely deserves all the praise it gets. Whataburger hands down completely yeets the hell out of In-N-Out Burger. Just completely rips it apart. My friends lit us up when I told them In-N-Out sucks. They lived here all their whole life. Did you guys see the line over? Where in Colorado was it? Was it like in Colorado Springs or whatnot? The line that was there at the In-N-Out Burger, and people were, they were in fights and somebody lost their pants and whatnot. I mean, it's an all right burger, but it's nothing, dropping your pants over. They got the special mayonnaise sauce on there. I guess that's what. Yeah, it was on Aurora, Colorado. I guess he was prepared to give the special mayonnaise surprise. I don't know. Did you look at the new LaGuardia Airport? We did a report on the LaGuardia Airport, or a video on it before. Axcar, if you can you just put the link in here, man? Just put it in the comments, or just tell me what to search up, and I can open up another tab over here, and look at it in. Because opening up the email is also a bit. Montana Rail Link is Class 1 now. Ah, interesting. New LaGuardia Airport. If California were to abandon the HSR, would it mean the opposition won? First of all, the chances of California abandoning high-speed rail now are very slim. Again, it's about as slim as the chances as Joe Biden, fixing up Amtrak. That's as slim as it is. California's not going to abandon high-speed rail. I'd be very surprised if it does, but I doubt it does. It won't abandon it. But let's say in this weird, wacky universe that it does. Okay, let's say that the California high-speed rail completely, just messes up, and they say, "Oh, we're canceling the project." Would it mean the opposition won? No, I don't think it would mean the opposition won. It absolutely had to do. California High-Speed Rail Authority is its own worst enemy, because they have done so much to basically sabotage their own project by doing so many dumb mistakes, by angering. I mean, if you're angering both Republicans and Democrats in California, you're doing something terribly wrong. I don't know what, but that's really the big problem with that. Really, they need to get on the ball and just fix that up. I doubt they'll do it. I wish them all the best. I hope they get it done, and we'd be glad to have anybody from California High Speed Rail. Of course, again, like I say more crap about California than I do about Amtrak, but again, we'd be willing to have anybody on there and come on like we've had before, and talk about it and see what they can do. And give people more of the, not just the benefit of doubt, but also a little bit more moralization of what's going on over in California, and give us all a breath of fresh air of what's going on over there. Yeah, I've called this before. Brightline West will build first in California before California High Speed Rail gets an actual up and running high speed train in California. All right. Let me just look up this. Yeah, we did interview Scott from California HSR, and he's a great guy and whatnot. When I was there in the interview and whatnot, it seemed great, and I agree with him on most things. Again, it's not definitely not his fault. There's a lot of people within California High Speed Rail higher up in the board of directors that have completely messed this up. Hold on. Okay. Did you ever want to ride the Rocky Mountaineer? I would love to. Okay. Let's see what's going on over here. Axcar, did you get the link in yet, buddy? Is it working in the comments? Can you post a link in the comments? If you guys have links you want me to look at, just post them in the comments and I'll see. Is Robert Eckel still a TCR? I don't think he is anymore. Let's see. The Iowa State Interstate Railroad is getting ready to be Class 1 really soon, too. Yeah, there's a lot of movement up over here in the Midwest and, the northern United States. Again, there's a lot that can be done in other places. Again, if the states and regions can work together to bring in high-speed rail and better rail transportation in different parts of the country, that's really where it's going to happen. Okay, it's by having regional coalitions and having state and local coalitions in with that to have that happen. How is Via Rail CA? Oh, how's Via Rail Canada? I haven't heard anything yet on what's going. Well, not that I haven't heard anything yet. I just haven't gotten any news on what's going on in Canada. Let me see. Okay. I tell you what, Ashkar, we'll look at it the next time we have a live stream. So I'm gonna write that down. That we'll look at the Rocky Mountaineer. See what's going on with that. Unless you can you tell me like what the article is called or something like that? I'll definitely go ahead and just look it right here. Let me see. Let me go to news. Looking up on a. Oh, here we are. Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you, Holly. All right. Here we are. Perfect. All right. Here you go, guys. All right. We've been waiting for this. All right. New train sets for the Broadmoor, Manitou, and Pikes Peak Cog Railway. This is pretty cool. Oh, and it's built by Stadler. Okay, that's a pretty reputable company. New train sets for the Broadmoor, Manitou, Pikes Peak Cog Railway. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Broadmoor, Manitou? Are being assembled at Stadler's facility in Busnog, Switzerland. The complete renovation, tracks, railcar, and depot, and renaissance of the famed Colorado Cog Railway, which reaches up to 14,115 feet. Wow. Is more than 50% complete. Here's the photo included. So that's pretty cool. Opening date in May 2021. That's just a couple months away. To follow the progress of America's highest mountain railroad and to sign up to receive alerts, visit cograilway.com. Okay, so we can look at that too. So this is pretty cool, guys. Look at that. So again, Stadler, again, it's a Swiss company, so they have a lot of experience with cog railways and mountain rail. These are pretty nice. Is that the final color? Is it going to be that nice deep red? That would be cool. I like that. That's a nice red color. Of course, I haven't gotten the interiors done yet, but... Oh, I mean, I would support you guys, but I'm kind of low on funds myself supporting local media. Now, I've already said that about journalists of what I thought, but yeah, well, they're still doing work on it, but that's pretty cool. So here we go. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Rolling to the station, opening May 2021. Wow, that's nice. That is a gorgeous view. I want to go ahead because I've never been to Colorado before. My parents went to Colorado, to Denver, Colorado, and they didn't take us. You know, come on. We wanted to go, and they were like, you know, they came back, and all they did was talk about, like, Colorado for the next 2 months and show us all the VHS tapes, which was back then, you know, the VHS tapes that they took, and you know, keep showing us pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, nice way to make us feel, you know, just to make us feel jealous. Hey, at least we got to stay with Grandma and Grandpa, so that was fun. It's got to rest their souls. We don't have them anymore. You know, my grandma, my last grandmother passed away last year. Just pretty sad. But you know, again, that was it. It was nice to be with my grandparents. But yeah, my parents went to Colorado and didn't take us. Hey, they could have taken my grandparents too. That would have been nice. This is beautiful. Yeah. And Pikes Peak, I've always wanted to go to Pikes Peak just to see the race there on Pikes Peak. Tuh, look at this donkey. A help-build Pikes Peak Railroad. Oh, at least he's done work. All right, guys. So I think we've looked at that. Yeah, it is one cool. Yeah, that is one cool ass train. See, YouTube, it's the donkey. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Ass. It's one cool ass train. That's a good one. Alrighty. Awesome, guys. All right. So I don't know. We'll take it's 9:44, a 9:50. We'll call it a night, and we'll see you guys soon. I'll probably get some videos done during the weekend, some shorter videos. But let's see. Yes, make America's railroads great again. I had my cap, but I don't know. It like disappeared somewhere for some reason. I don't know what. With all the moving, And then I don't know if not just the moving, but like all the trips and whatnot. I hope I didn't lose it on the trip. I know I came back with it. It just got lost somewhere in the house, but I gotta find that. Metro fan, if you have a link, send it over here, bud. If it doesn't work in the comments, send it over to arcsecretary1@gmail.com. I should probably just put that up I gotta change up the default description to get that going. Thank you, Michael. Same to you, man. Happy Thanksgiving and God bless. That goes for everybody too. Assume it's 2030 and Brightline is doing well in Florida between Miami and Walt Disney World. After Tampa, Brightline West finish, where do you see them expand? Jacksonville. And we saw the... Let me see if I can bring that up. Let me see. All Aboard Florida map. If you look up the original All Aboard Florida maps. Now, if we're talking about just Florida, that's what I say. Here we go. So if you guys can see that, this was back from 2013. Back when Brightline was called All Aboard Florida. That was their promotional name to get them going. So again, of course, we have Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and Orlando, okay? So this was Phase 1. This is Phase 2. Phase 3 is going to Tampa. And of course, we've had some changes with that. Good changes. Because now we're getting, commuter rail service in between places in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, places like Boca Raton up over here, and Aventura and other little places around here. So that's going to be fantastic. They're also going to be doing a station in Cocoa. They may do some in the Treasure Coast. Let's be honest. There are some wicked folks over in the Treasure Coast. But the majority of them are pretty nice, and the majority of them do want, Brightline to have a stop over there, and they support the train. You just have a vocal minority of just, these venomous boomers that didn't want the train because it was going to cause noise, or it was going to, it's going to disturb me at the country club, that type of stuff. But there's a lot of people, even boomers too, that live in the Treasure Coast, and they want the train. They want to be able to go to places without driving their cars and, being on, going through Mad Max Fury Road over here in Florida. But that's what we want. When it comes to over here to Jacksonville, that'll probably be the next part. Someone did mention in the last comments about having probably the station be at the old, what's now it's a convention center now, but the Jacksonville terminal. It's still a kept terminal. It was there from I think 1912 or something like that. It's a beautiful looking terminal. It's kind of like a mini Penn Station in a sense. The old Penn Station, so it's still got columns and that beautiful Greco-Roman style, classical architecture, but it's still there. It's still in service as a convention center. However, there is still about 100 feet of right-of-way in between the FEC tracks and the convention center. So they can use that space as the platforms of the station and probably add the stations, around, connected with the convention center or whatnot, which I think would be great. And then, of course, you can also have, other places over here like Ormond Beach or Daytona or whatnot to have, stops over here. And I love Daytona Beach. Daytona, when I move back to Florida, one place I really want to go to or live in, it will probably be like Daytona or Ormond Beach because it's far away from the crazies. But it's in a nice place where it's still close enough. If I want to go to Orlando, I can go to Orlando. Or hey, Brightline gets a station up there now. I can take the train all the way to Miami instead of dying on a car in a car wreck on I-95. So that's one way of looking at it. Yeah, Daytona, let's get away. Daytona. So that's where I see All Aboard Florida or Brightline. Jesus, I'm back in 2013. That's where I see Brightline going in Florida. In terms of the rest of the country, definitely Brightline West. Okay, so Las Vegas to Victorville, technically connecting over to Los Angeles, which again, that'll be great if they could build a direct station over there. It's probably not going to happen, so they'll link it up with the metro over there, but they'll be perfectly fine, if they can do that. Of course, they were in talks with Atlanta to Charlotte. That's another one they were looking at. Again, that's another big area that's growing in terms of business. So that makes it. Yeah, and St. Augustine, of course. So, what am I kidding? I can't forget about St. Augustine of here, of course, the birthplace of Florida. Holly wants to live in Orlando. Maybe it's further away from people in Orlando. Maybe we can compromise in Lakeland. That way I can pray at the Mecca of Publix. When will Brightline resume service? At this point, I don't know. I was hoping maybe for the holiday season, but I was wrong. Hey, I admit when I'm wrong. Okay, there's so many people out there that try to sidestep that. I say, hey, I was wrong, or hey, I was being stupid on this, or whatever. I say that. So I hopefully hope we'll resume service. I used to work at Publix. I used to work for Publix for 5 years. That was the only company that had never ever screwed me over. Okay, Publix is a fantastic company to work for. Where shopping is a pleasure. That's right. Well, working is a pleasure. If you're in those Publixes where it's not in a terrible area, where everybody there is smiling and you have like that one like young strapping guy who has like a bow tie on and he's like, "How you doing, sir? Can I help you with anything?" That's a good Publix. That's a good Publix to work at because at least nobody's going to give you, shit. But if you work at a Publix where I worked at, where it's in South Florida, and you have, everybody from everywhere, has to be there at the same time, and they all have a chip on the shoulder. I'll tell you one thing. It's because of that job that I have the patience that I do. Okay, I have the correct amount of just a godly, saintly amount of patience because of working at that Publix. Thank you, Michael. Michael's filling in the words for me. The ice cream is never on sale, but it's always $2.50. It's 2 for $5 all the time. What are you talking about? Or it's BOGOs. You get the We don't have BOGOs here at Kroger. They give no BOGOs, or when they do give BOGOs, it's like on something that nobody wants. It's like, here, would you like these fermented chickpea bread? Whatever, pure vegetarian bread. That's something that Kroger would put like for BOGO. Will they use Siemens equipment? Yeah, they are going to use Siemens equipment on Brightline West. So if you look up Brightline West, and you can see the document I'm looking at, Brightline West construction. Whenever it loads, you can clearly see here it's a Siemens Valero. Okay, the same train sets that they use in Germany for the Intercity Express 3, the ICE 3, ICE 3. Power lines, dirt road, and mountain. Do you guys see that? If you guys look, I can't zoom in over here, but this is funny. So they named this picture "Power Lines, Dirt Road, and Mountain." That's a very descriptive picture, very descriptive JPEG. What about the train in the middle? Power lines, dirt road, and mountain. that should be a shirt idea. Just have like a train there. Just says power lines, dirt road, and mountain. I don't know. Yes, it is the best grocery store. Did you see the Amtrak Midwest passenger cars? I have. They're pretty nice. Hopefully, again, there's got to be more here in the Midwest in terms of that. Which Publix did you work at? I worked at the Sky Lake Publix. Last question: how is Honolulu Rail going on? I don't know, but just for you, Adam, I'm gonna go ahead and look that up. So let's go ahead and look up Honolulu Rail project. Let's see if that comes up anywhere. Any news? Let me look up news. I'm using DuckDuckGo. Mayor offers up new timeline for rail's completion that takes construction into 2033. Oh, ugh. Okay. All right. So this is some news. It's some news that came out 6 days ago. Okay. So let's look at this, and then we'll end it on that, guys. Okay. Mayor Kirk Cadwell said the Honolulu Rail project already bloated price tag. Could increase $11 billion. What? $11 billion for what? And its start date could be pushed back up to 6 years. Oh, God, this is another California we're looking at here. That's not good. We're talking about $1.1 billion difference between what Hart says it's going to cost and what I believe is a more realistic number. He blamed the increase on financing problems and construction delays that could push the project start date to 2033. That's not good. Even the rail project's harshest critics think the mayor's 2033 completion date estimate is overly pessimistic. He pushed it all the way to 2033. That's 13 years. It's like we're restarting the project from scratch, said University of Hawaii Civil Engineering Professor Panos Privadoros. That's insane. Under the city's estimates, contractors will be building the remaining 4 miles of the guideway in the rail stations at a rate of a third of a mile each year, which is very slow by most standards. Inch by inch, foot by foot, yes. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. When the Chinese and Koreans can basically build a mile of railroad or basically plant down precast rails at a mile per day at that rate, and Hawaii is, I don't know what drugs they're on in Hawaii, or if they can get off the beach in Hawaii and actually do this, but that's insane. That is insane. Yeah, Adam, it's not looking good in Hawaii, man. I don't know, brother, but it ain't looking too well there. Oh man, that's not good. And this is for what type of project is this? Let me see what in. So they're already building it, or they already have parts of it already built. This was the construction back in 2015. Oh man. If you guys live in South Florida and you're familiar with the Palmetto Expressway, the 828 exchange, that's what it's looking like right here, man. This is just never going to end. The never-ending project. It's just like the never-ending story. So there's supposed to be a scheduled opening in 2022 and 2022. I don't know when was the last time this Wikipedia article was updated. Huh. I don't know, man. But this is not good, guys. Oh, let's see in the comments over here. We have a Sawaru from Japan. Welcome aboard. Oh, at this time, what's it in Japan right now? Oh, it's morning. Oh, so it's Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome aboard. It will be afternoon, so it'll be a konnichiwa in like 3 minutes. But it's night over here, so konbanwa over here. Railroads are getting ready to have a big comeback. Yeah, it's true, Erica Assistant. A lot of these problems has to do with contract leaching. It's a very big problem here in the United States. And if you guys remember a couple years ago, why do rail projects cost or just so exorbitantly expensive here in the United States? A lot of it has to do with that, and just the amount of red tape. And look at how many, like when we see some of the articles over here, guys. Let me close this off too. Look at some of these things that, like, the FRA has to approve this, to get to get a tunnel done before it collapses. 110-year-old tunnel before it, God forbid, collapses maybe midway when there's a train there. Maybe there's enough cracks in the concrete tunnels to just go ahead and just collapse. And now you have hundreds of people dead, and you're not going to have trains running in there for months. But no, the FRA has got to give approval, and we have to go through certain steps, and we have to make sure, and we have to increase costs to make sure. That's the problem. That's a big problem. No president's going to fix that, okay? No president's going to fix that. You can think all you want. No president's going to fix that. I thought Trump would totally roll back. He has rolled back a lot of regulations. There's just so much of it that it's just that bad. And because of it, Texas Central Railway is getting done finally. They were able to, to speed up the process over there for its the court cases. They sped up the EIS study as well. But this is just insane how many EIS studies they have to do. They haven't completely gotten rid of them. I know the Trump administration has or wanted to get rid of the EIS, but it's not looking that like that's going to happen. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there, Ultima. We should. Yeah, we need some Japanese contractors over here. Hayaku. We need them here now. All right, guys. So we're gonna end it there. But good news all around. Like I said, guys. There are one in every 6 American right now is starving because of the economics. of the pandemic right now. So it's just a hard time. But I said, hey, as long as you're not eating a dog today, it's a good day. All right? So it's 10 o'clock. We're going to end it there, guys. Thank you so much for coming on board. Okay? Arigatou gozaimashita for being up over here and keeping up on the rails. Again, we're going to be having more videos coming out. I'll have some more. And also getting the other channel started out. So, yeah, GN, I studied Japanese and I got a certificate in college for it, for Japanese language and culture. It actually did serve really well when I was over there in Japan. I don't like speaking English when I go to foreign countries, because then everybody either speaks broken English to you, or they're not going to be friendly to you, or they're just going to try to get you out of the way. You open up a lot more doors when you learn other languages, and no Google Translate or whatever translator device they're going to give you is ever going to just fix human to human, just straight on human to human contact. And hopefully we'll soon enough or later we'll be able to take off the masks and actually talk once again like normal human beings. Whenever that happens, whenever the overlords say so, the lizard people, according to some, I don't know that actually believe that. Are you on BitChute or Rumble? I'll probably if things get so bad that I'll have to get on BitChute, I'll probably have to get on there. I don't think it's going to be that bad for this channel that will have to escape to BitChute. Maybe my other channels, since we say stuff that YouTube doesn't like, but that's what it is. Of course, guys, thank you all for writing. All right, we're gonna end it all here. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for all the comments, and thank you all for all this lovely support and being on this ride. Again, we all make this possible, okay? It's not just me, okay? I may be the conductor for now, but you guys, in your own world, you guys are conductors, you guys are kings, and of course we got some queens here too. But again, we got to make this, okay? And it's going to happen, all right? So work in your communities, keep being active in your community and seeing what's going on, okay? And join up, sit in some of these DOT meetings. They have them online now. Now you don't even have to go to DOT meetings. You don't have to drive to your capital or anything like that. Now you can see them online on your Zoom call. Just don't put the Zoom call and put the link on 4chan, please, dear God. Don't do that. We want to actually listen to the meeting, not have somebody on there, disrupting the meeting. Please, dear God, don't do that. All right, guys. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have a good night and take care. God bless.